to me, I'm not a village girl. That sentence cut deep. Mr. Okori's face hardened. Watch your words. Charity laughed bitterly. So you want to punish me because of what people say in church? Mrs. Okori's voice broke. We are trying to save you. Save me from what? Charity shouted. Comfort? A good life? Tears rolled down Mrs. Okori's cheeks. From becoming someone you will hate later. Charity turned away, her heart pounding. She felt betrayed. She felt like the ground beneath her feet was shaking. She stormed out of the room and locked herself in her bedroom, crying loudly, throwing pillows and shoes around. That night, the house was restless. Charity cried herself to sleep. Her parents prayed silently, asking for strength. In the days that followed, Charity refused to talk properly. She answered with short replies. She ignored her parents. When she heard the word boarding, she exploded. You are ruining my life, she shouted one morning. Mrs. Okore hugged her gently. Sometimes love looks like pain first. Charity pushed her away. I hate you. Those words hurt with Mrs. Okore all day, heavy and painful. Preparations began quietly. Forms were filled, phone calls were made. The school chosen was known far and wide. A boarding school with strong rules, high standards, and a reputation that scared even stubborn children. One name kept coming up during the discussions, Sapile House, and one woman attached to that name, Mrs. Ofomanta. Parents spoke about her in low tones. She doesn't joke, she trains children, she fears no one. The stories were many. Charity overheard some of these conversations and laughed. They can't change me, she said confidently to herself. On the day of departure, the atmosphere was heavy. Charity packed her bags angrily, complaining loudly. Why so many clothes? She asked. Am I going to prison? No one answered. At the school gate, Charity stepped out of the car and froze. The buildings were tall, old, and serious looking. No flashy colors, no smiling posters, just order. Students walked in straight lines. No noise, no laughter. Charity felt a strange fear creep into her chest. Mrs. Okori hugged her tightly. Remember who you are. Charity did not hug back. You will regret this. Mr. Okori nodded slowly. One day you will understand. Behind them, the city faded. Ahead of Charity, a new world waited, one that would not bend to her pride. Boarding school shock. Mrs. Ofomanta did not raise her voice, yet every word she spoke landed with weight. Charity noticed that immediately as she followed the woman across the compound. The woman walked with calm confidence, not rushing, not dragging her feet either. Her wrapper was neatly tied, her blouse simple, and her hair was fully covered. Nothing about her looked flashy, yet everything about her commanded attention. Carry your box properly, Mrs. Ofumanta said without turning back. Charity struggled with the heavy box, already annoyed. At home, 3 people would have lifted it for her. Here, nobody moved. Students passed by, some sneaking curious glances at the new girl, others focused straight ahead as if looking around was forbidden. Madame, Charity muttered under her breath, they should have given us trolley. Mrs. Ofmanta stopped walking. She turned slowly and looked at Charity, not angry, just studying her face. What did you say? Charity swallowed. Nothing. Mrs. Ofmanta nodded. Good. Because this is not a hotel. This is Sapele House. The name alone sounded heavy. Charity felt something drop inside her stomach. They arrived at a long building with clean floors and straight windows. The smell of disinfectant filled the air. Inside, everything was arranged neatly. Beds were laid in perfect rows. Trunks were placed uniformly at the foot of each bed. Not a single shoe was out of line. Mrs. Ofmanta pointed to a bed close to the door. That is yours. Charity frowned. Why near the door? So you can learn to wake up fast, Mrs. Offmanta replied. Charity opened her mouth to argue but stopped herself. Something about the woman's eyes told her it was useless. Change into your housewear. Assembly starts in 10 minutes, Mrs. Offmanta said and walked away. 10 minutes? Charity panicked. At home, she took her time. Here, time seemed to run. She rushed to open her box, throwing clothes everywhere. Other girls watched quietly. Some looked amused. One girl, slim and short, leaned toward her. "Better be fast," she whispered. "Auntie doesn't joke." Charity rolled her eyes. "She's not my auntie." The girl chuckled softly. "You will soon understand." Assembly was strict. Everyone stood straight. No noise, no laughter. When Mrs. Offmanta walked past, even seniors stiffened. Charity felt out of place, her body aching from standing still. Later that night, Charity expected rest. Instead, a bell rang. "Prep time," someone announced. Charity groaned. What kind of suffering is this? She dragged herself to the prep hall. Silence filled the room. Books opened, pens moved. Charity stared at her book, confused and tired. At home, she never studied this long. Days passed and the shock grew deeper. Charity was given duties: sweeping, washing plates, arranging beds. The first time she was told to sweep the dormitory, she laughed. "You must be joking," she said to the prefect. The prefect smiled sadly. "I'm not." Charity refused. That was her first offense. Mrs. Offmanta called her aside. "Why didn't you sweep?" Charity folded her arms. "I don't do that." Mrs. Offmanta nodded. "You will." She was punished. Extra duties, no excuses. Charity cried that night quietly so others wouldn't hear. She missed her bed. She missed her freedom. She missed shouting and being obeyed. She tried her old tricks, talking back, rolling eyes, complaining loudly. None worked. Each time, punishment followed. Each time, she learned. One afternoon, Charity insulted a junior student over a bucket. The girl cried. Mrs. Offmanta appeared like she had been watching the whole time. "Apologize," she said. Charity shook her head. She was slow. Mrs. Offmanta's face remained calm. "Apologize." "I won't." That refusal earned her the toughest punishment yet. Kneeling under the sun for hours, sweeping the compound later, missing lunch. Students whispered. Some laughed. Some felt pity. During punishment, Charity noticed something strange. Mrs. Offmanta watched from a distance, not with anger, but with something else. Concern? Charity pushed the thought away. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, very slowly, things began to change. Charity learned how to make her bed. She learned how to wash clothes properly. She learned to wake up early. One evening, after completing her duties quietly, Mrs. Offmanta called her. "You are improving," she said simply. Charity froze. No one had praised her in a long time. "Thank you, ma," she replied softly. That night, Charity lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling. For the first time, she felt something new. Not anger, not pride, awareness. She realized she had been wrong. But growth is not instant. Some days she slipped, some days